All right, well, we've got a problem here with this outlet. Let me unplug this. You can see, look at this. This is like an area, a burn area right there. I've noticed some sparks at some point when using this outlet, and I don't know what's wrong. But the first step to figuring out what is wrong here is to actually replace this inner outlet component. So let's get to work on that. Let me show you how to do that. First thing you want to do is actually make sure that all the electricity to this is turned off so that you can safely work on it. It's not that difficult as long as you know that all the electricity is turned off. So I had this plugged in because attached to this is a lighted power strip, and when the lights go off, that means there's no electricity. So let's go over to the circuit breaker panel and start trying options until this gets turned off. So back in here is the panel. Let's open it up, and this is the kind of stuff we want to look at. Right here, it's going to be one of these, and looking at the labels, they may or may not be labeled well. You may want to add this. You can see stuff on the right over here is major stuff, dishwasher, other things. So it's going to be on this side near the bottom. It's going to be one of these near the bottom, almost certainly. Can you read that? Is that doctor's handwriting? What is that? Okay, so you want this kitchen plug, washer, gosh, garbage disposal. It's probably one of these three over here in the middle. It's probably gonna be one of those three, I think. All right, 17 says owner bedroom. So it's probably either 15 or 16. It's like lights and plugs, right? 15 or 16. So over here, 15 or 16, you can see, all right, the way this is lined up, that's 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. 19, 18, 17. So 15 or 16 is gonna be one of these two. Let's try 15. Check that out. The lights are still on, so it wasn't that one. All right, so we put 15 back. Let's try 16. Not that one either. A little trial and error here, put that back. All right, so I'm gonna label 15 as, that's the secondary bedroom actually. I know that, I'm gonna label that so I have that for future reference. I don't know what 16's for. Hopefully future generations can read that says second bedroom. I'm gonna just randomly keep trying other ones until I figure out which one goes off. Okay, after a lot of trial and error, is actually on this 20 amp breaker, and that is labeled over here as a kitchen plug. See that? But that's where it was. All right, so I added in there kitchen plug and dining. Hopefully people will know what that is in the future because it's in the dining room is where we're having this outlet issue. As you can see, the lights are off. I was gonna say also try the other one. Sometimes they're switched on separate circuits, but this won't even go in. This is so badly burnt, it won't allow the prongs of the electrical outlet in. I don't wanna force it. Hopefully it's all off, and let's just replace this, and hopefully that solves the problem that we're having over here. Now for this repair, if you're lucky, you're only gonna need two tools. One is a Phillips head screwdriver. Can you see this? It's got a different, it's a head that fits a screw that, and you may not even need this one, has 4 prongs on it, 2 slashes, one across the other. And more than likely you're gonna definitely need this one, flathead. It's a flathead, it's just one single slot instead of 2 in a cross pattern or an X pattern. And it just fits in here. We need to first take the cover off. That's the first step. So it'll fit in here. And again, don't do this unless you are absolutely certain that the electricity has been cut off. That's what you want to be certain of. And it's gonna fall out probably. You wanna, oh, there it goes. Whoop. Take the cover off. All right, now this one's been sealed with some caulk around the edges, but look, this thing is, oh, it's hard to make it on the camera, but I can see it for me. It doesn't even look white anymore. It's definitely burned. Wow, look at that. What in the world happened over there? Like something's been going on. I don't know what. I wonder if something's wrong with one of the wires. I may have to call an electrician if if I can't do this one. That looks bad. Now, in order to take a closer look, let's take the top and bottom. You can use either flat or Phillips. We'll do a Phillips head in here. And this screw should be held in place by some paper on the back, you see. Go down to the bottom. And I don't know what would cause this, but this is obviously bad and dangerous. I don't even know if I want to turn the electricity back on to the circuit until this thing is fixed. I'm concerned about what might happen. All right, let's pull this out. So basically the idea is we're just going to replace this. Let's see how this is attached. It's got a lot of wires. I think this is sharing the circuit with the kitchen. That's part of the problem. It may not be a good design here. I don't know. All right, let me pull this all the way out. I'm gonna need to put the camera down. After pulling this out, I can feel air coming behind the wall. It might be best to seal that up with some more caulk if you can, but that's to make an airtight electrical box. But look at this. You can see what happened here. Gosh. Is the insulation off of this wire? It's all burned. Look at that. Man, that looks bad. All right, well, you gotta memorize and take one off at a time. Let's take all the good ones off and put them on the new one. See how there's a ground? This is a ground down here. Ground. These are the hot wires. I think they're both white. At least that was white. I hope I can salvage that wire. And then on this side are the black wires. These are gonna be easy enough to change. Right, that's what we have. This is what we have as a replacement. Make sure it's exactly the same. There should be 15 amp. Again, it was a 20 amp circuit. I'm not sure why this so it wouldn't trip a lot. But there's only 15 amp stuff on here, so maybe this stuff's gonna melt before the circuit's gonna trip. I don't know. But let's take this out of the bag so you can see how it's identical, or close to identical. You see on this side it's got 2 screws and a ground, and on this side just 2 screws, no ground. So let's start by taking the ground off and attaching it here. Well, actually, let's start on this side here. We'll get these 2 off. You can see it'll take a flathead or a Phillips. So we're just gonna loosen this. Actually, we can take it all the way off. We'll probably want to do the same thing. Well, actually, we can't take it all the way off. They've got the wire wrapped around. You see that? So you'll have to put your Phillips or your flathead in there and pull the wire around so it's not looped around that thing anymore. See how I freed it up? Then we'll have to slide it off. We can slide it out now. Because you want it kind of like this so you can slide it right into the one on the new good receptacle. Just start pushing it out. It's almost all the way out now. Okay, it's out, so now I'm going to match this up with the new one, and it's gonna go right here on this one. Put it in. Be careful not to twist these wires any more than you need to or bend them. Bend them too many times and they will break, so don't do that. All right, I've got this one started and it's gonna, there, see that? Get in there. Now I'm gonna tuck that wire down like it was tucked so it's wrapped around, and then tighten down the screw just like it was on the other one. It's the reverse. You might even want to get a small set of needle nose pliers like I have to kind of squeeze, get it all in there and squeeze. See, I squeezed it in there. Now I'm just gonna tighten down the screw. Use those needle nose pliers to do that. Looks just like the other one did, right? All right, now we have to grab with 2 hands and tighten it down so it's nice and snug. Can't be loose. Okay, it's down, it's snug. The most important part of this whole thing is make sure these connections are snug. All right, so like magic, I pulled the second one off, attached it here just like the first one. So we're done with the side. Let's go to the ground wire on the opposite side. Let's better inspect those hot wires as well. All right, the ground is going to be easy enough to take off. We'll have to open that up again like we did on the other side so we can get it off the screw. This one I actually have to get a pair of pliers on to pull it around so I can get it off. I actually have to pull the whole screw off, but it's off now, and there's the wire. Let's move to the new outlet. All right, this should be easy enough to fit on there. Get the wire over like that. And once it's on, let's tighten that screw down. Make sure that wire's pulled all the way through and snug. You might need a pair of pliers like I've got here, and then tighten it down a little more. It was, you saw it there in that last frame, it was a little too far backed out. And again, just make sure the thing's tight, which it is, nice and snug. Don't want these wires going anywhere. So now I've got everything attached except for these hot wires. Let's take a look at them. Let's take them off one by one and reattach and see if we notice anything during that process. Let's get the least damaged one, which is the one on the top first. Yeah, believe it or not, that top one is the least damaged. Let's take that one off. All right, here's what it looks like. We'll reattach to the new one. Did the same way, took this off the same way I did the other ones. Alright, you can see I re-angled the wire so it'll go on smoothly. The way it wasn't angled quite right. That could have been part of the problem. See, that'll go on nice and snug. And make sure when that screw is tightened down, it's not going anywhere. It is very, very tight, snug. It's not gonna move. Now let's look at this one at the bottom. This is where maybe the issue was. Let's pull it off the old one and see what we find. All right, now I'm looking at it, I can see it already is off most of the way. Maybe it was loose, I don't know. But you can also see that the wire insulation is gone from there. It could have been a combination of the fact that it was loose and it was causing some heat buildup and melted it off, I don't know. But I think we're probably gonna need to get some electrical tape or something on there. Either that or shorten the wire, which I don't wanna do. So let me connect it first, and then we'll take a look after I make the after I take it off of here and make the connection on to the new outlet. All right, here's the outlet. Man, that looks bad. I don't know what happened there. Something was not right, and hopefully it was just a matter of not being connected tightly. And because it could be something else with the wiring if this is not it. We'll know if we have another problem like this or not. So here's what it looks like, and look at all this debris that's coming off. It's like insulation and charring that has fallen down from me taking this out. But I'll make that last connection, and like I said, there's some insulation missing. We'll have to put some electrical tape on that and make sure it's not touching anything else in the meantime. Okay, I took some time to re-angle this so that when I stick it back on, it'll go right onto that without causing a problem. All right, there it's connected, and then this area that needs some electrical tape is not touching anything, so that's fine. We'll be able to test it and make sure that everything's working, turn the electricity back on, and see if we notice any burning or smelling. That was obviously the problem last time. Another thing to be concerned about besides these connections being tightened up is the neutral not being, or the ground being too close to the electrified lines, which are these two. So make sure this is separate and down low. See, there's a big gap there. It needs to remain, and these cannot touch or even get close to one another. Anything different about that?
That one looks crispy. Did the wiring catch on
Yeah,
fire here?
it melted. It overloaded. See, this side's fine. Well, this is the cold side. This is the hot side.
Yeah, maybe
It was overloaded. It either wasn't screwed down tight enough here, or it was overloaded, or this could have been touching the ground wire and the power wire could have been touching, and some of the insulation's off. I got to put electrical tape, make sure they're separated, and then leave it on there for a while using it, and then we'll have to, if there's still a problem, we'll have to have it looked at.
Does that mean
But you can see it ate through the plastic.
the Instant Pot can overload any circuit then?
It was probably a problem before that. Or also, these are 15 amp outlets, and it's on a 20 amp circuit. So the outlets will melt before the circuit
Breaks.
blows.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something. And it's, look, see this? I can't even get a plug in this one anymore. It's melted on the inside.
Yeah. Well, should we have a 20 amp outlet?
Maybe, I don't know. But for now, I didn't realize it was on a 20 amp circuit, but for now, we'll be okay. We shouldn't put more than 15 amps in there anyway, I would think. But 15 amps shouldn't cause it to melt. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
You got me.
That's what we have.